And aloha! Welcome to the Blue Note Fan Report. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and I'm your host on the only program that is by a fan, for the fan, and absolutely about you, the fan.
So are you Guy or Dee?
Ed Danowski.
You're not in Hawaii?
I wish.
To Mr. Gary Younger.
Hi, Dee.
Hey, sir, how are you?
And Brock, how are you doing?
Doing great, sir. Doing great. Honored to have you on the show.
You know, I had the privilege while I was in the forces, in the Canadian Armed Forces, to take the Stanley Cup to Afghanistan. Only hockey fans would deploy to Afghanistan where it's 105 to 135 degrees every day, and they'd take their hockey sweaters and play ball hockey. This is a year for the Leafs. The Leafs are going to win it all this year. One of the players down the line said, "You got to be kidding. The Taliban got a better chance of winning the cup."
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Hawaii Blues fan, we're bleeding blue with you. Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues! Let's go Blues!
And aloha, and welcome to the Blue Note Fan Report post-game show. Aloha, I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, and this is the Blue Note Fan Report post-game show. The Blues play lackluster, but still get the 2 points. Will I take it? I'm not sure. Will you take it? Probably. Let's talk to my co-host. First, from Sports Street, the indomitable, the mean man himself, Mr. Richard Campbell. Hey, Rich, how we doing, buddy?
Not too bad.
What'd you think of that third period there?
It went a little better than the first two periods, but still pretty lackluster.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I said, a lackluster game. Brock, lackluster period. We still get a win. Who do we blame? Or do we blame anybody?
Well, I mean, we got the win. We needed the win. We got the points. We got the 2 points. So anything beyond that, you know what? It's kind of just bitching about things that don't need to be complained about. That said, I just, you know, Tarasenko's having a little bit of a rough go of it, you know, and
yeah, I'll agree.
I'm not sure what that means. But great game though. I'm taking it. I'll take it. I'm excited.
You know, I seen a post in the Hawaii Blues fan clan. Someone put Tarasenko should sit today and Wednesday, and then someone else made a quote. He can't shoot, he can't pass, he can't do this, can't do that. If you're watching him, you know, everyone who says great's not watching him. Well, I think you're not watching him because he had a really good dig on that far board in that far corner to get the puck out and to keep it in the zone. There's a lot going on that you don't see with Tarasenko. Now, look, I get everyone says he's paid to score goals, but this is a quote-unquote defensive team. Mm-hmm. He's playing defense. Now, is he not right? Yeah, I agree. He's not right. I'm all for that. But he's still doing what he needs to do. Should he sit? Yes, I think he should sit. However, with Dunn and Krug out, hey, I said it right. It made sense putting him in there. it made sense putting him in there. When Costin comes, maybe Costin's quarantine isn't as bad or as long as his quarantine can be as little as 3 days, right? If he has 3 consecutive tests of negatives, he's good to go, right? 3 or 4. So we could have him. We could have him playing sometime next week. You know, and because he arrives tomorrow, right? That means he stays in St. Louis. When we come back from LA, we got him for the 2 Wild game. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, hopefully we have it clinched by then, and it doesn't matter. You know, we don't need those games. You know, hopefully.
Yeah. Sanford takes a bad penalty at 7 minutes. In the third, Sanford's a shit play costing. Well, we're no one here. Well, I'm not going to argue with you.
I know.
I'm not going to argue with you.
You know what? I swear, as soon as he got that penalty called, I was like, I'm going to hear about this. I just knew it. I knew it.
Right? You know, look, penalties happen, right?
Yeah, I know.
I get it. I never. The only time that I really fault a player for a penalty is when they, I mean, absolutely go for a hard ass slash or something like that. A lot of times a high stick, you know, it happens, right? So I'm not going to totally fault it. However, Sanford has a spotlight on him, right? And that's absolutely what we need to look at. Sanford has a spotlight. So as long as he's got a spotlight on him, there's going to be this heightened sense of what he does wrong or what he does right. I tried to look at Sanford because you guys have gotten on me about Sanford. Both you guys, right? So I tried to look at Sanford in a little different light. I still saw the damn mistakes. I didn't see the good. I saw the bad. So maybe I'm wearing instead of rose colored glasses, I'm wearing black Stanford colored glasses. I don't know. Aaron says, Guy, you were about the stats or the W. I'm more about the W. Well, you know, okay, beginning of the season, I'm all about the W, okay, because that's when you need to compile points. But when you get this late, the quality of play is as important as the W, because here in a week and a half, it's going to get to a point where it's one and done. You're playing for your lives. So at this point in the season, I'm more about the quality of the win, not just the win. Right? Now, Richard, I know as big of a fan as you are and as knowledgeable as you are, that you're absolutely going to probably disagree with me.
Not on this actually. Wins are more important throughout than any individual player stats, because as long as you win, that's how you win a cup. It doesn't matter if the player scores 60 goals in the playoffs, even if the team doesn't work together, you don't win a cup, and that's how wins are formed.
Well, no, I get that, but what I'm saying is right now at this time of the season, the quality of the win, because a bad win is going to translate to the playoffs. Right. And that's what I'm saying, that I'm looking at the quality of the win. And this was not a quality win. It really wasn't. Right. Neither one of you can sit there and say that the Blues handily won that game.
But they won the game. You know, like whether it's by 7 goals, 4 goals, whatever, they won the game. They found a way to win. It wasn't pretty, but the result is what carries over. You know, just like we talked with when they played great and they just lost. Well, moral victories don't carry over. You know what I mean? It's just where I'm coming from.
Yeah, okay. I do see that. I'm just concerned. I'm not an anti-blue, and everybody who knows me knows that.
I get you.
Okay? I'm not anti-blue. I'm being a realist, right? I want to make the playoffs more than anybody else. Trust me, I do. But I want to make the playoffs and make noise. This is the time for us to show teams that we can make noise. A 3-1 win where you almost got outplayed in the second against the worst team in the division doesn't send any tremors through anybody's spines in the rest of the division. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I don't disagree. I mean, I don't disagree on that.
Right? I even think Richard agreed with me on that one. And boy, man, if Richard says he's agreed, we need to mark this in the calendar.
Yeah. Well, you know where I go sideways is number one in hockey. There's so many stats to go by. There's so many different stats, so it's hard to, which stat's important. For me, it's goals for, goals against. For other people, it's penalty kill, whatever. So depends on which lens you're looking through and which stat you're looking for. But for me, I've seen a lot of teams that have had statistical, the goals, the league scoring leader on it, who's just been a billion points, but the team's not been very good. So, again, as a fan of that team, I'd be like, well, I'm happy for that player, but it didn't really help my team. So I look for more of these guys who help the entire team. That's just the way I look at it, though.
Yeah, no. So, here's not a great third, good enough for the win, but far from great. And that's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's still the win. And you're right. And you just highlighted my favorite person to bag on, Connor McDavid. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, that's exactly where you're at there. That's Connor McDavid in my eyes. However, this year they've got a chance. Yeah. Now, I was looking at something interesting in the schedule. There's a good chance that a lot of those Canadian games don't have to be played, right? If Calgary loses one more game, they have no chance to make the playoffs. So those final 4 games against Calgary and Vancouver are unnecessary. So the playoffs could start early. No, the NHL has said if the games are meaningless, they would drop them. Right?
But then what does that do to your statistical leaders? And I mean, that throws your statistics all out of whack too, then, doesn't it?
Not really. Because they're all based on, it's all based on games. Right? And I don't think there's nobody on Calgary or Vancouver that's going to be in that position to challenge for one of the statistical categories in my eyes. Yeah. Right. I really think you're going to see, especially Calgary plays Winnipeg. If they lose to Winnipeg and they're out of the playoffs, there's no sense in playing those games. And you can start all the playoffs at the same time instead of having the Canadian teams resting for a week, waiting for the playoffs to start.
So just to check you on some stats, Edmonton, they're at 62 points, second in the Canadian division in the North.
Yeah.
Toronto's running away with it, and they've clinched.
Yeah.
Edmonton has not clinched yet, but they're pretty close to it. So just to get that stat out there.
So but if you look at Calgary has 5 games left, and they're 10 points.
Yeah. They're
behind
Winnipeg.
Behind Montreal. Montreal gets 1 win.
Oh, that's right.
That's done.
Montreal's at 55 points.
Montreal wins 1 game, it's over.
Yep.
Right? And then all you're doing is worrying about
seeding, the seeds and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right? I think there's 1 game between Winnipeg and Edmonton that's after the end of the season. That game there may have something to do with seeding, but if it doesn't, right? I'm there. Well, actually, you're not screwing the fans here because most Canadian cities don't have any fans in the stands anyways, right? Richard, are there fans in the stands up in Canada?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so you're not screwing the fans. You're not screwing the fans there. Oman says 5-4 mini, 6-5 mini. I actually thought they lost to I'm wrong. I thought they lost to. Yep. Nope. They beat them. They're leading 6-5 with 24 seconds to go. So it's 6-5 with 25 seconds. 24. Wow. Excuse me. 24 seconds to go, and the Golden Knights have an empty net. So they're working for that second place. That's what they're trying to get.
Yeah.
Right.
About the remaining teams, I just have a comment about that. I think the final 10 games are one of the most important stretches in a hockey season, just because how you play entering those 10 games is how you will play in the playoffs. If you win 7 out of those 10 games, you're going to do well in the playoffs. But if you lose 10 straight, you might as well book the first round ticket out of there.
So Ryan Green asked a really good question here. He misspelled it, but he says, what's the best scenario? Teams resting for the playoffs to start or playing right into it? For me, it's a combination. It's resting the player that needs to be rested and playing the players that need to play.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So and what I mean by that is you look at Ryan O'Reilly. Does he need to be arrested? Probably not. He's a workhorse. Justin Falk. Does Justin Falk need to be arrested? Absolutely. Absolutely give Justin Falk 2 games. He's playing 30 minutes a game.
Yeah.
He's playing a full game every 2 nights. Right?
Yeah.
Give him a little bit of rest. I have no issue with that. So my point here is Tarasenko. Tarasenko needs to play. If he's healthy, if he can play, he needs to play. Parayko, while he probably needs to play, the rest might do him some good. Yeah. So it's a combination of both those things. Yeah. You need to look at what's best for each player once you're getting to that point.
Hey, Guy, another little score update. Montreal, they end up winning in overtime. The rookie Cole Caulfield got another overtime winning goal. So
nice.
I think it looks
so
like
actually that does. I think that there now that changes it. I think that sets them an extra look at the standings now. I think that if it's updated, then Calgary should be out of it. They should have clinched their spot.
Well, they don't actually officially update the games till all the games on the slate. So I'm looking at NHL reference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at NHL now. Yeah, they're not showing that they've clinched yet. But to me, I don't see how. Well, Edmonton should have already clinched. I don't see how anybody can catch Edmonton. Mm-hmm. I mean, could Vancouver possibly go from first? No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't know. Maybe I got to look. Maybe I'm missing something here because to me, Calgary has 5 games left. That's 10 points. Or no, I have 12 points. 12 points. Yeah. Okay, I'm wrong. And so 12 points.
Arizona's tied up. Arizona's tied up 1-1 against the Kings. Arizona Kings are 1-1.
The Arizona and the Kings. So the thing with that game is whoever loses is out. They are battle. Whoever does not get the second point is done. Right? Their season's over.
Wow.
So I want to know from Richard here, with all of these coming down, with this tight in how tight it is in the north, as tight as it is here in the west. What do you feel about those divisions? Are those divisions strong enough?
I don't think there are any weak divisions in the NHL in any way. Every division has its strong points, every division has its weak points. But for example, the Canadian division especially, you knew who the top 4 teams entering the playoffs were going to be months ago. It was always going to be Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Montreal. In basically that order since February. About the Central, I believe that's what they're calling for West. Same thing. Besides Arizona being ahead of St. Louis for a little bit, it's been the same thing. Vegas, Colorado, Minnesota, and St. Louis or Arizona. Mm-hmm. LA threatened a little bit, but not enough to cause a serious panic.
Yeah, no, I get that. I see that. This is the West is kind of, I mean, a lot of people thought that Minnesota wasn't going to be here. If you ask me who the surprise is in the West, I say it's St. Louis, right? Because I thought they were a much better team. Sure. I could also say that Minnesota surprised me because I had them in 6th. Here they are in 3rd. So, it goes back and forth a little bit. I thought that Phoenix, Arizona would get that 4th spot, to be honest with you. And actually, I had Minnesota in 5th. So I thought Arizona was going to get that 5th spot. So it does surprise me that they're going to fall out and that Minnesota played as well as they did to get into the 3rd. But St. Louis not playing up to their ability, to me, has a lot to do with it. So our magic number is now 4. 4. And I got to double check that because they were saying 5 on the Duck show, but I'm pretty sure that it's that if they tied at 59, that we wouldn't have the raw to win. We wouldn't have the row to win. That we'd actually drop out. So I think it's we've got to hit that 60-point mark. So that's what I'm looking at. You got to have that 60-point mark. At least maybe I'm wrong. I'll go back and look at it later. Again, we want to say happy birthday to Tanner. She is a big fan of the Blue Note Fan Report. Big fan of Brock's. Big fan of Richard's. Loves all you guys. And we just got to say very big happy birthday to her. Ryan Green says it was 6. It's now 4. That's what I was pretty sure.
Yeah.
We can clinch on Wednesday. Yes and no. Okay.
We have to have some help.
No, yeah, we need the help. If we win Wednesday, whoever wins tonight against Phoenix and the
Coyotes.
Kings has to lose on Wednesday. So, I mean, the better scenario is clinching Friday, right? Clinching Friday. Richard, up in north. Let's talk up north a little bit, right? Is Toronto as good as we think they are? Are they going to have or do you think they're going to have a first round meltdown?
I don't see them losing to the Habs at all. The Habs, despite them having a lot of depth up front and on defense, they don't have a superstar on defense. Say Weber is older and he's declined a lot this year, so he's not a star anymore. Petrie dropped off from his early season heroics. The Habs have no one who's been doing brilliant right now. This has Cole Caulfield, who scored 2 goals in 2 nights, but I'm not counting him. I think Toronto gets past Montreal in 5 games. And against Edmonton as well, really be looking at, but I also see Toronto getting past them because of Edmonton's lack of depth up front. Like, as I said before, that forward depth is atrocious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd like to see Toronto. I mean, I think Toronto should come out of the North, but I do think, God, as much as I hate to say this, Edmonton could put it together too, right? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Edmonton comes out of the North.
Sure.
Not that I'm you know, it even pains me to say that, but if it happens, and I'm okay with it. But Toronto's having a good year. And if you notice, the teams that have won the cup in the last 3 years have been the team, with the exception of one, have been the teams that have needed to win, have had long droughts. You look at Washington getting their first one, the Blues getting theirs, Tampa got their second one, but it's been like 10 years, 10, 12 years since they got it. And Toronto hasn't won in a long time, right? I want to say that they won theirs in like 06 or 07, but I could be wrong. Tampa?
67. Oh, Tampa is 04.
04? Okay. See, I knew it'd been a while. So, and then you've got Toronto hasn't won since 67. So, hey, Dre Montez, what's up, buddy? And I got to say a big shout out to Luke Thompson, Brian Tuttle, Dane J, Ian Purnell, John Hefner, and Jim Siegel for that thumbs up. We all appreciate it. Dane J, I think that's the first time I've ever said your name, so really appreciate it. And John Thompson, I think I've said your name before, but I'm not completely sure. Appreciate each and every one of you watching the Blue Note Fan Report on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'm Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan, joined you today by Brock Banner from St. Louis Fan Report and the Hockey Writers, and by my big Canadian friend. That's right. It's Richard Campbell from Sports Street. How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing pretty good.
Right. So
you know, we were talking about nicknames the other day, and I just thought about, why don't we call him Soupy? Because we had Jimmy Campbell, Soupy Campbell.
Oh wow! I didn't even think of that. Soupy. I don't know about that. That's not bad. It's not bad, but I think we can come up with a better one. It might be a temporary one. Richard. We love you, man. But whoever wins the President's Trophy has the curse. That's not always a case. I mean, Chicago. There we go. I'm going to get killed. Chicago won the President's Trophy and the Stanley Cup in the same year. So, and then Marianne Holmes just gave us some love. So appreciate you too, Marianne. Let's get back to this game a little bit. Let's check out the stats real quick if I can. Let me pull them up.
I want people to know we don't pay the rights for this music. This is this guy's music.
Hey man, we got to be careful. Can't get them. Them bad things.
Copyright notice.
Yeah, can't get a copyright notice. I get in enough trouble as it is. So here we go. We'll kind of check down the stats here as we're pulling over on the side. I guess I got to share it in the right way again. Keep forgetting to do that. There we go. So here are the stats from today's game. Shots were 32-20. Thank you, Bennington. Thank you, Ducks. I got 1 point out of Bennington now. Thank you, Ducks. St. Louis took 32, took 14 in the third. Not bad. Stars of the game were Shen, Thomas, and Bortuzzo. The goals we got in the second period, Braden Shen from Schwartz and Falk was a power play goal. 26 seconds later, Ryan Getzloff capitalizes on a Blues mistake. In the third, big bad Robert Bortuzzo from Kyrou and Thomas. He stayed with the play, got a great pass from Kyrou and buried it after his initial shot at 2:13 in the third. And then at the 1951 mark, Ryan O'Reilly, with a little bit of help from Perron and Falk, giving Perron his 400th point with the Blues, sealed the deal to make it 3-1. Bunch of penalties. I won't go into those. Let's see if I can pull up some of the other team stats here. Hits were 15-14. Blocks were 15-14 for St. Louis, and giveaways were 12-10. We caught up with them on the faceoff in the third. We're 49-51 after getting beat pretty bad. Sometimes you take a win when you get it. Sometimes you don't. And this is one of those where, okay, it wasn't the best, but it's a win. Mm-hmm. Does it concern me? Yes, it concerns me. And that's kind of where my thoughts are. I want to know what your thoughts are, Brock.
Well, I mean, like I talked to a friend of mine who covers Montreal, and it's like they get mad if they don't win by 4 goals. Like, doggone, you should have won by 4 goals, not 3 or what. So it's just like, come on, you got to take it as you can get it. Like, this team lost 8 in a row. Like, at this point, I'll take any win that we can get and start building some momentum. So, it's tough for me to kind of get pulled of that. But before I go, I want to bring up my man Robert Bortuzzo, and I wish Lance was here because Lance really was down on him. I think Guy, you might have been down on him too. Came up with the big goal today. Now I get it; that's not his game, it's not his role. But I do want to give credit where credit's due for Robert Bortuzzo. And Ryan Green has got a comment here about Bortuzzo and made me bring that to mind about giving him credit. So.
Yeah, no, I got no problem giving him credit. I mean, first of all, it was a great play. Mm-hmm. It was a great play. So what he did is he takes the shot that goes off into the corner, right? Yep. Falk to Kyrou, and then Kyrou back out, or Thomas to Kyrou back out, and he rushed in on the play. So he got up in the rush and was able to bury the puck. I'll take that any day of the week, and that's what the Blues do. They do allow the defenseman to get up in the rush if a forward has gone back. So I didn't see. So I actually think Hoffman had gone back, which allowed Bortuzzo to get up in the rush after that shot from the blue line.
Mm-hmm. And, for me, the thing that makes this team special or could be special is that, in years past, they were always reliant on one guy, Tarasenko. If they shut him down, they had nothing. So this year, I think the scoring's being spread out. We're getting goals from different people. It's not always the same person. And I think that bodes well for the rest of the season. They're getting a scoring punch from, Robert Bortuzzo. He scored 1 goal this year. Tonight was his first. So, those are pleasant surprises. And again, maybe that's from that puck luck we're talking about. Making our own puck luck.
Make your own puck luck. And that's why when you guys were talking about puck luck early in the season, I kept fighting that. I kept saying, no, you make your own puck luck. You make your own puck luck. And now we're seeing where that's paying off.
Sure.
We're absolutely seeing where that's paying off. So, Richard, tell us what you got going on, buddy.
Well, a little comment about Bertuzzo is that I always liked him. He's a reliable 6 or 7 defenseman, so I'm pretty glad they got his first goal of the season tonight. From what I've got going on, I just finished my expansion draft video with Guy, and in a couple of days, I'm going to make an NFL draft video, so stay tuned for that.
That's great. And you can find that on YouTube at Sports Street. Have you already uploaded it?
No, I haven't. I'm going to work on it tonight.
Yeah, so look for that tomorrow, and I'll make sure that we get it tweeted out and all that and let people know about it. It was a lot of fun, man. I don't know if you're going to show the whole thing, but that was 2 hours, and I didn't even feel like it was 2 hours. It was absolutely, I mean, we both had like 2 minutes a team, but it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot from Richard. I really did, and I got to say thank you for that, buddy.
No problem. Glad to have you.
I did that draft thinking outside the box. So a lot of times I had Richard doing this.
There you go.
You know, I had him scratching his head, but you got to admit, Richard, I came up with some good points for some of those, for some of my picks and who I would leave unprotected.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Richard, you got to admit, he's come up with some bad points too.
What about you? What do you got going on there, bro?
Well, like I said, working on a lot of stuff with the new website and, the new design stuff we talked about, ringsidemedia.com, and invite everybody to check that out. But again, working on a couple stories for you. I'm working on something for the hockey writers about the Blues and the playoff contention and just the race, kind of a wrap up, a little bit more general. But again, a couple things for you. We're got a couple more interviews. We got the hockey mask guy. Might do a longer feature story on him. Was really taken by his story and how cool what he does and the art that he does. I just found that to be really fascinating. So, you and I are going to talk about a couple other story ideas. Again, just trying to get some of the other writers up and running and be supportive of them. Like I said, we have Caitlin joining us, and Kat's going to do some stuff. So, trying to be supportive and just be helpful where I can. So, I like where the site's going, and I like that we're growing. So, excited for the future, man.
Well, I got it. We got a couple of special things coming up here. I want to get to I'll get to Ryan's question. If you had $650 million, would you spend it on your own team? In a freaking heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Wouldn't think twice about it. Would not think twice about it. Because you know what? If you do it right, you're going to make money. You're going to make money. I absolutely believe that. I think if you do it right and you got the right deal and you do things the right way, you're going to make money. Right? That there's the money's there. The money's there. I think that you're going to make money. And it's easy. You look at Seattle, they sold out. They're sold out for 3 years already. 3 years. They haven't played a game yet. They've been sold out. They sold out. You had to buy 3 years worth of tickets and they sold them out. Hopefully a lot of them don't go on the secondary market. And that's what me and Rich talked a lot about. So I would absolutely go there. Tanner, we are more than happy to give you all the love that we can give. We appreciate everything that you've done for the Blue Note Fan Report and for the STL Fan Report. You have been one of the staunchest supporters of me and what I'm trying to do, and I really appreciate it. So happy birthday, Tanner. Big happy birthday to us. Okay, so here's what we got going on. Tomorrow is a special night, ladies' night. It will be at 8:45 Central Standard Time. We've got the Russian Cat, SoCal Cat, 2 members of the Hockey Warriors, and what's her name again?
Mariah Holland, that covers the Minnesota Wild.
Mariah Holland from the Hockey Riders, Minnesota.
Yeah, she came on the postgame show with us. And
she was on the postgame show Saturday.
Great.
Really, really great, smart, intelligent woman. You know what, ladies? This is your turn. I absolutely believe that some of them ladies out there are more intelligent than a lot of the men. And for the this is amazing when you hear them talk, right? I'll actually say right now that Kat and Kate, well, Kat for sure will blow me and Brock away. Won't blow Richard away, but will blow me and Brock away. And I'm just now getting on Caitlin, but I'm pretty sure that she's got some smarts up there too when it comes to hockey. Yeah. So I'm not putting my wits up against her. That's for absolute sure.
Sure.
On Wednesday, we have the pregame show at 6:45. This is a good problem to have, and I didn't know it would ever be a problem. I have so many people who want to be on the show. We got to kind of work things around. I know Anna wants to come on if there's room for her. I think I'm going to sit Brock out on Wednesday on the pregame, but he'll be there for the intermissions. I'm going to bring Lance on the pregame, and then I know we're going to have Caitlin on the pregame for that, and then she'll be on with the intermission. So, Brock, I may sit you out for that one. Richard, you'll be on standby for Wednesday if I need you.
Sure.
And then Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, tell all your soccer fans they need to watch the Blue Note Fan Report. This is going to be a show. I grew up watching the Steamers. Are we still good on this one, Brock? Or am I going to?
He knows the time, and I've given him. I don't have a confirmation, so I'm a little nervous about saying yes. But I'm just going to tell people because we've been talking about it.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. This is yours. This is your baby. You go, bud.
We're trying to get Kevin Slayton to come on the show and talk about the old days, announcing the Steamer games. For those who remember, the Steamers of the '80s was a real big deal, and me and Guy kind of grew up with that. So we're kind of geeking out on the Steamers. They were an indoor soccer team. They played in the Major Indoor Soccer League. They competed for the championship a couple times. But again, it just was a lot of great memories here in St. Louis. So we're supposed to have him on Thursday. I know he's a controversial figure, but he knows soccer, and he was really one of the early people with the Steamers. So I hope you folks can join us, and we'll definitely be promoting that once we get the time nailed down. I just checked my email to see if I heard back from him, but not yet. But that's the nature of the business. So I'll probably hear from him tomorrow. Yeah,
that's going to be a good one. Then Friday and Saturday, we have the pregame shows. Now, those are going to be late shows. Mm-hmm. Those are at 9 o'clock. The games are at 9 Central Standard Time, I think. Yeah, because they're 4 my time. So they'll be 8:15 CST for the pregames on that. The King is coming on Thursday. Definitely tuning in. So Jim Siegel knows who we're talking about. Yeah, this is going to be that'll be a fun show.
Can I say one thing though, real quick?
Yeah.
You know, like we talked to a lot of people, and we try to get interviews all the time, and usually it's the door slammed in her face and now get out of here. But I will tell you, there's a couple guys that I've contacted, and Kevin's one of them who's just been nothing but professional and nice and accommodating. So I know he riles a lot of people up, but again, you know, I just appreciate him treating us right because we're just a small show trying to make it, and he understands that, so he's trying to help us out.
Yeah, and you know, I if someone slams their door in my face, let them slam, right? Yeah. Because sooner or later, they're going to come begging to me. I know it. This show has got to be one of the best. And here's one of the things. I think it's so neat. Feed Spot. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's a place where all kinds of blogs, they rank or they host blogs. They show, you know, you can look for blogs and then you get emails from that blog. Well, of the top 15 St. Louis Blues podcasts, they only have 13 listed. We're not even there. We're not even on it. So I'm going to, you know, send something to them and say, hey, you guys need to check this out because you're missing something. Mm-hmm. We are one of those blogs. We are one of those. And maybe it's because I'm not actually doing it on the radio, you know, doing it on a podcast style thing, but we're going to get there. We're going to try and see what I can do about starting to take our audio and putting our audio on a podcast, at least on a weekly basis, you know, maybe not our pregame shows, but on our special shows, start doing those.
Yeah. And you know, I was going to say on the ladies' night, you know, I know we've had a lot of discussions about, you know, behaviors and stuff like that. And I'm almost embarrassed to even say that stuff because, I mean, we're all adults here. You know, we're all living, you know, 2021. It's like, you know, it's not a big thing for women to understand hockey. I mean, you go to the games, there's a lot of women in hockey. So I'm just kind of appeal to some of the guys that have old school thinking about this to kind of turn the page, man, and kind of get out of that thinking, because these women are brilliant. They're bringing a great perspective. They're stepping into a zone they're not maybe comfortable with in many cases. And I think it makes it harder when guys are taking pot shots and making things uncomfortable. So yeah. I'm definitely going to watch the show. I'm happy they're all getting a voice, and I'm happy that your show's the one doing it.
Well, the one thing, and we talked about this a couple days ago. Richard, you and me had that conversation where you asked me straight up, did I bring you on for the diversity aspect? And I told you I wasn't smart enough to even think about that. And I mean it. I wasn't. That never crossed my mind. And Brock, you know this. Yeah. You've had enough conversations with me to know that never crossed my mind.
Yeah. I mean, we're the voice of the fan. Like, everybody's got a voice. We don't care. If you live in a mansion, or if you live, in a 1-bedroom apartment, I mean, you're a fan. If you got TV and you follow a team, you're our people. Yep. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that. There are no classes.
Absolutely.
There are no divisions.
Absolutely. Rich, I know I've been a little too much tonight. You got anything that you want on any last thoughts today, Richard?
Actually, I do have something rather big for me. For whole season, for a couple of seasons now, I've been doing NHL fantasy, and recently I've won first place in mine, so I get pretty big cash prize for that. Considering I picked 11th overall in a 12-team draft, I think that's pretty impressive, as I believe 11th spot right there is the worst possible draft position I could have had. So I found that interesting.
Oh no! Hey, congratulations, man! And I gotta tell you. One last thing: the Blackhawks are officially eliminated from the playoffs. Well, he adds from the playoffs, anyways. No, we were just gonna eliminate them. Period. We're gonna eliminate them from the league. We'll just let Seattle take their place. That's gonna get my friend Windy City Hockey mad at me. No. I actually absolutely love every team. You have your friends, you have the ones that you don't like. You have your team, but it doesn't matter. We're all hockey fans. As long as you're respectful, I'm respectful. And I'll be honest, I don't hate most Blackhawk fans, but I do have a very ugly spot in my heart for most Bruins fans, right? The majority of the Bruins fans that I have met have not been, even when I went to that game 3, man, when the Blues were getting blown, some guy had to push me into a wall, right? And I'm walking on the side, he was drunk, and, I just let him go, so that's just,
they're all drunk up there though, man. They drink like hell up there, man.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, and that's something we'll have to talk about one night. We'll have to talk about my trip to Game 3, right? Game 3 of the finals. That was, first of all, that's the first time that I'd ever been to a finals of anything, right? First championship that I'd ever seen. And then to be able to go to the first Stanley Cup final game in St. Louis in 49 years against Boston again. Right. It was when the game got announced. I mean, I had only been working at my job for 2 months. Right. Mm-hmm. I had no vacation time accrued. And here it is. I need to take a day off, maybe 2 days off, to fly to St. Louis to watch a hockey game. They had to pay $1,000 to get tickets for. And it was a memorable experience, and we'll talk about it sometime. So yeah, that was Game 3. Was the day there was that major storm that went through St. Louis, ruined all the parties and that. Yeah, it was kind of a mess, but we'll talk about it. And you know what, Ian up there in Minnesota, I got to tell you, I've met a couple of Minnesota fans, and I had a friend of mine who passed away a couple of years back, former Master Chief in the Navy. He was a huge Minnesota fan, and I did a show when I first started. I did a show for all his family, and I actually predicted that Minnesota would win that game 10-1, because there were 10 members of his family, and Minnesota won it like 7-2. Yeah. So, Minnesota, I've been to enough other places. Like I wore a Blues jersey to a Pittsburgh game when they were playing somebody else. Mm-hmm. Right. I'm that guy. I did that. I'm going to wear my Blues jersey, just like the Chicago guy that wears his jersey to the St. Louis. Okay, that's you support your team, but hockey's hockey, man. And I love watching good quality hockey. That's why I wish the minors would adjust a little bit and get some of the fighting out of the minors, so the minors would be a lot better quality hockey. So these guys would get a little bit better equipped to come up. But fighting's part of the game, and that's another discussion that we can have sometime. I don't have an issue with fighting. There's a time and a place, though. Yeah, me too. Right, time and a place. What about you, Richard? Being up in Canada and all, being Canadian and all, I know that there are a lot of fans in Canada that the fighting is it goes both ways, I guess. Where you stand on that?
I personally love a good hockey fight. Like some of my most favorite hockey memories involve fights. Like just a couple years ago, that Cam Tolbert and Mike Smith fight is absolutely insane considering that we were on the different teams for the year before. And so I found that really neat. Over Vancouver and Calgary line brawl in 2013, I believe. That was also one of those top hockey memories I have. So I personally love it, but I know lots of people will disagree with me on that.
Yeah. No, I don't mind the fighting, but there's a time and a place, right? Like Bortuzzo, the two fights he got in the other game, they were in the right time. They were absolutely the right time for what was happening. He needed to do that, and that's why I don't have an issue with it. But again, when I don't like the drop the puck, drop the gloves, right? Sometimes it's okay, but when it becomes, like Shin's done it 3 or 4 times now, right? Now he's done it in good spots. But what happens when he just does it and it's not in a good spot? At some point it's not. So that's where I come from on that.
After Mark Stone knocked Tyler Bozak out,
nobody went after him.
Falk had his only fight this year. Yeah. But the fact is, Tyler Bozak was still out for 20 games or whatever. So I get it about the fighting, but the thing to me is sometimes it's a momentum stopper. All of a sudden the game's going, all of a sudden up, stop. 2 guys want to dance in the corner and act like they're fighting. Because too often than not, they're just holding each other, clutching each other, and they throw each other to the ground. It's not the old days where they're fisting off. They're just dancing. And it's kind of like, okay, great. You got one lick in. I just think the quality of the fights are terrible. And they just, I just think that they disrupt the flow of the game a lot of times. So, I don't know. I just get it. It's part of the game, but
NHL should take out the instigator rule and let the players police themselves. Fighting just needs to stay in the games, juniors, minors, and the NHL. I do agree fighting needs to stay in the game, but it needs to be regulated a little bit more. And I'm sorry, I know people don't agree with me, but you got enough problems with concussions, and that's an unnecessary concussion, right? Remember now, when the fight ends is when one guy goes to the ground. Right. So a lot of times that guy's bouncing his head off the ice. Mm-hmm. So there is some of that, you got to think about that a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's an unnecessary concussion that can be prevented.
Sure. Right.
You can't prevent them all, but there's some that you can prevent. And that's kind of where I'm at there. Well, guys, we ran right. Well, man, I was going to try and keep this at 30 and we blew right past that. I had a great time tonight, guys. Richard, thank you so much for joining us again. Every time that you're on, you're so enjoyable, and you're becoming so much a part of the St. Louis Fan Report and Fan Report Media Group. I just want to say thank you.
Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
And so, Brock, your Tanner's mom got to watch early and said your face reminded her of her dad. So that made their evening. So thank you so much for that, bud. Brock, again, man, you and me will talk a little bit after this is over, but it's always.
I do want to say to Tanner, because my parents are both passed and they had dementia. So it's something that's very near to my heart. And I definitely understand the struggle that's going on there.
Again, we're feel for you, Tanner. And one last thing that we're all three going to say on the count of three. You know what it is, right, guys? Mm-hmm. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, Tanner.
Hey, Tanner.
Okay. Well, guys, this is Guy the Hawaii Blues fan for the Blue Note Fan Report, brought to you by Forrest Crump Enterprises, War Stories Coffee, and Mike Zook Enterprises. Check out stlfanreport.com for more information. Please give a big thank you and a welcome to Brock Banner and Richard Campbell. This is Guy saying aloha, mahalo. You got to know that I'm bleeding blue with you, and I cannot wait to see you tomorrow night on the next Blue Note Fan Report. Aloha!